Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I just got back from seeing Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them. This was a very fun movie. This was the kind of movie, by the way, just in case you didn't read it, spoilers. I'm not doing a non-spoiler review. This is a spoiler review. So, yeah, it was a very fun movie to go to. To go and just relax and just watch the movie. Don't think too much about it. Don't get too invested in it. It's canon for movies. It's not canon by the books. There wasn't even a book written about this. Like the book itself, Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them, is a glossary of sorts. It's an encyclopedia of different beasts. That's all it is. There's no story inside. Now, J.K. Rowling wrote a story about this and had it, read and whatnot over in Europe as a charity benefit thing, but it wasn't quite this. Now she was the writer of this. She was the executive producer, one of them in here. So she did have a big say in this. But I mean, when push comes to shove, it's I don't know. It's kind of a weird sort of thing. Case in point, the original book. Magical Creatures and Where to Find Them. It said that he graduated from Hogwarts. In here, he didn't graduate from Hogwarts. He was kicked out, right? There was a Lestrange sister who he was in love with, and they give the story in there. But the idea behind it is that she wound up committing a transgression, an act that wound up hurting people, and he loved her so much that he wound up taking the blame for it. Man, guys are so stupid. Anyway, so he wound up getting expelled from Hogwarts, and Albus Dumbledore stood by his side, but he was just a teacher. He wasn't the director. He wasn't in charge of the headmaster. He wasn't the headmaster yet. So Dipple, I think, was the name of the guy who was the headmaster at the time. Anyway, I've got I can see his name, I just can't read it. It's like in a different language. So anyway, yeah, and like there's some things that aren't the same. What do you call it? The idea that they're indicating that in I forget which one it was it Chamber of Secrets? In one of the movies, they actually had his portrait in Dumbledore's office, indicating that he was a former headmaster. He wasn't a headmaster. He was never a headmaster. But the movies are different from the books. It's just like with the Marvel movies, right? In the Marvel comics, you expect full continuity, but the movies, that's like a different multiverse, man. Like they'll have some characters with the same names and sometimes the same attitudes and whatever, but when push comes to shove, that's a completely different movie. So when you go in to watch this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, guys, you will enjoy the movie so much more if you do not go in there scrutinizing it, looking for continuity with the other movies and, God forbid, with the other books. Just go in to enjoy the movie as if it were a standalone movie. Because, like J.K. Rowling is not about continuity at all. She'll change things at the spur of a moment. Don't even look for canon. You say, J.K. Rowling is canon. Okay, that's cool. Do you remember how, what was it, Grindelwald? When Grindelwald was first introduced in the books and we read all about him, and he was the predecessor to Voldemort. He was the bad guy. He was, hurting muggles and doing all these crazy things. No mages in this movie. He was, bad guy. And then Voldemort was finally entreated to go and stop him. They were best friends growing up, right? That's what we understood from the books. They were best friends growing up. And then finally he went, and he was the one who had to ultimately stop him. They have the thing in here where, what's his name? Newt goes and stops him. Scamander. He goes and he's able to be the one with a group to actually stop Grindelwald. That's we're going to put a pin in that for a moment, all right? But over here, what do you call it? Later on, J.K. Rowling was doing a reading, and someone gave a question afterwards and said, hey, what's up with Dumbledore? Like, does he and McGonagall ever get together? Which is a really good question. Really good question. And she, out of nowhere, she says, oh, I've always kind of imagined that that Dumbledore was a homosexual and that he and Grindelwald had gotten together. Okay, there was not a single person in the creation of all of creation who read these books and got that impression. The proof is the fact that every single person in the world who read the book said, wait, what? So some people were happy, some people were not happy, whatever. That's an aside. You know what I'm saying? If you're, bigoted or whatever and you just got those kinds of problems, that's not my concern. That's not what I'm here for. But everybody said, what? So, the idea that, he was a homosexual was never stated in the book, and it wasn't even alluded to. There was nothing. Everybody sit there and go back and read and say, well, when you look at it, no. When you initially read the books, not a single person said, hey, you know what? Not a single person. So, and social media existed during that time, so no. But let's see, what was this pin about again? Oh, yeah, how easily Grindelwald was caught. I'm very upset by that because, as I'd mentioned, the only person who was able to actually stop Grindelwald was Albus Dumbledore. And he used the Elder Wand, and he was able to defeat him that way, and he was finally imprisoned. And then Voldemort came along later. Spoilers if you didn't read the book. It's a spoilers review. And he freed him just so he could ask, where's the Elder Wand, and then kill him. And he was already insane by that point, which makes sense why they would use Johnny Depp to play him. And yes, he is in this movie. When they said, oh, we're tapping Johnny Depp to play Grindelwald, everybody's like, okay, that's great. So when the second movie comes out, there's going to be like, what, 3, 4 of these movies? They said, yeah, he's going to play the movie. And they're like, okay, cool. Why are you telling us now? You're already casting for the next movie? Cool, man. They're really into this now. They were casting for this movie. Colin Farrell's character, what do you call it? Percival, I wrote it down. Graves. Thank you. How did I not remember that? It's such a cool name. Not Percival, but Graves. Graves, as it turns out, was actually, and I didn't see this at all. I didn't imagine this happening. I went in there, I'm like, son of a gun, ain't that something? I kept on thinking he's eventually going to escape and go back and report to, or it would be reported that, Graves failed. That's what I was expecting to happen. And then, Grindelwald would be at the end and just, and then, like Thanos, then I'll handle it myself, and pull out the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh my God, could you imagine Voldemort or Grindelwald with the Infinity Gauntlet? Shoot. Anyway, so somebody draw that picture. So, yeah, he gets caught way too easily. I like the idea that the Beast came in to a degree, because in America they don't have these beasts. They're outlawed. They're banned. Well, Grindelwald, I don't remember him being in America all the time. I thought he was international. I thought he was all over the place. But if he was specifically in America at that time, then that would make sense. That could make sense because he's not used to the idea of these beasts flying around. Doesn't know what this beast could do. Probably doesn't even know the name of the beast. People are, shocked by all these magical beasts showing up. Like, wow, this is cool. That you have all these, they have all the same magic and whatnot. So he was hiding in plain sight in the Makusa thing. By the way, Makusa, simply a way of saying this is the American version of the Ministry of Magic. And it's cool because, there's the part in the Goblet of Fire where the Polyjuice Potion was used. And the Polyjuice Potion was actually used in the third movie also. They could sneak in and all this stuff. And Worm Tongue was, and just, yeah, there was a lot going on there. So Polyjuice Potion was a big thing there. I don't know that this was a Polyjuice Potion that he was using. Maybe it's just a spell. I mean, he really is supposed to be that powerful. And he was. He was very powerful. It's just the way that he got stopped so quickly, so easily. I don't care if he was surrounded. I don't care if there are that many mages. All I'm saying is Voldemort would have been caught like that. Then again, maybe he would have, because at the end of Order of the Phoenix, he did run. Remember, he was in a big battle with Dumbledore. And when all the other mages showed up, that's when he ran. That's when he got out of there. Like the others, it was so close that they actually saw him as he was leaving, and that's what suddenly put out the red light. Hey, he who shall not be named, he's back. So, hey, he's not behind me. I actually said his name, right? Anyway, so, yeah, it was, I don't know. I did expect him to be more powerful than that. Seeing Johnny Depp, I didn't think it was going to be good. I'd have rather been Colin Farrell. I know he doesn't have the crazy look, but I like seeing Colin Farrell doing this. I Seeing Johnny Depp was just kind of like a, oh, okay, that's cool. That didn't do anything for me. Literally, the reveal was very interesting. Oh wow, that's Grindelwald. But seeing that Johnny Depp was playing him, literally nothing. It did absolutely nothing. Okay, Credence is who we really have to talk about. He was the Obscurus, the Obscuructus. I'm not going to remember all these names like that. Sorry, I read the books, but like that was actually the name of the wands place that was in Diagon Alley, which was interesting, But regardless, yeah, that wasn't anything particularly special. Anyways, the Obscurus itself that was inside of Credence. I kind of wish they would have picked a better name because I swear to God, every single time they said his name, all of a sudden I started, ding, 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 I see a bad moon rising. That's just, yeah, all of a sudden Creedence Clearwater Revival came in and just, did you like that little number? I get out my harmonica. But anyway, that's just all I was thinking of the entire time. And of course, Modesty, his little orphan sister, and his mom. Oh my God. And not his real mom, his adoptive mom, because he's a freaking orphan, because his mother was actually a witch. That was cool. Make no mistake, though, whether I tell you about this or not, you knew it the entire time. Like, they try to give the little misdirection that it was actually Modesty. Didn't buy it for a second because like the biggest clue is that when first off he just looked like he was powerful. He just looked it, like he was repressing something. And they're sitting there talking about, oh, this is the repressed stuff and whatever. This is clearly him. That was, they had me with the whole, oh, Grindelwald is actually, it was Graves. He was really Grindelwald. That had me. Okay, you had me, but. No, this didn't, not even remotely, so plain as day. I don't think there were a lot of people who were fooled by this. Like obviously it was him. The wand, I'm wondering whose wand that was. Was this, did she find, was he looking for his own wand when she showed up? And, hey, when Modesty showed up and said, what are you doing? And he's, like, you're thinking maybe he's looking under her bed. That might have been his bed. And he was just looking for his own wand, his mother's wand or something to that effect. Don't know. That would be, interesting to know. Doesn't matter anymore because he's freaking dead, apparently. I don't like the idea of, that kind of a resolution. I think the Marvel movies are starting to learn to not just kill their bad guys anymore. And here we got this. But I don't know. It was good. It wasn't great. It's cool that Grindelwald's trying to amass some kind of power and things like that, and just doesn't have the same thing going that Voldemort did. He wasn't as effective, clearly, as Voldemort was. But I liked it on its own. But my wife had this problem because, I've read the books once. I kid you not when I say she's read the books 10 times. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. In fact, I'm probably being light when I say she's read the books 10 times. And there are a lot of you out there who either are those people or who know those people. And just, no thanks. I got better things to do. I've watched several of the movies more than once, because they're enjoyable. I own all 8 of the movies. I've actually got a really cool story about, I'm American from New Jersey. My wife is Canadian, and it's supposed to be about a 9 to 10 hour trip to get there. I can drive it in under 8, as long as there are no cops on the road. It's the middle of the night. But I actually drove up to see the final Harry Potter movie with her. It was a surprise one night. I was working a night job, and I got out at midnight, and I drove straight up to Canada, to Toronto area to see her. And, surprise, I didn't tell her I was coming. And, showed up and like, hey, you want to watch a movie, in a couple hours? Yeah, sure. What are we going to do? Plug the movie? No, let's go watch Harry Potter. Yeah. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm right down the street. It was a very cool, it's a very cool story. It's a very endearing thing. I'm saying? We were actually engaged at that point, but whatever. Harry Potter means a lot to me because of that. And Like I went because, I wanted to see the movie anyway, and she was madly in love with the Harry Potters. So, yes, yes, very good stuff that way. But, regardless of the love for the movies or the love of the books, in order to really enjoy this movie, you must separate them and just understand that they are simply two universes. They're clearly just two universes. J.K. Rowling will reveal data about the different canon in the stories all the time, just randomly in an interview, in whatever. She's very willy nilly with it. There is no order, organization, structure, anything to that. So if you try to put these pieces together and make them make sense, you're just going to get frustrated. You're just going to get upset. And it's a form of stress that's really unnecessary. I mean, they're just supposed to be enjoyable movies, guys, and enjoyable books. But I asked the people in front of us. Yes, I'm that guy. I have no shame. I literally have no shame. I wear clothes so that other people don't get offended. But I literally have no shame. I just, here's the two people sitting in front of me. I'm like, hey, you guys see this before? No, we didn't. Oh, okay, because I was wondering if there was going to be an after credits scene. And no, there is no post credits. There is no mid credits. There is nothing afterwards. So you do not have to stay for this movie after the credits start rolling, unless you want to see, who wrote the music and things like that. There is absolutely nothing after this movie. So, and I didn't see a because in the pre-movies, many times they won't show after credit scenes. I've gone to those before. Like with press, I've seen, pre-movies, and they will not show the end credits. But this was a regular showing. I saw it today. This is a Monday that I saw this, and no pre-credits, no post-credits or mid-credits scene. So that's helpful, I hope. I stayed the whole freaking time until the screen actually went black, thinking, really? No Howard the Duck or anything? Guardians of the Galaxy reference. So, but I asked the people, what's going on? Anything? Like, what do you think of the movie? And the girl didn't answer right away, but the guy was like, it was okay. I was like, did you read the books? It's like, yeah, I read the books, and, for the other movies, and, they're really good and everything. I was like, so you just thought this was okay? He's like, yeah, it was, it was okay. It wasn't anything great. Wow, that's a real shame. His girlfriend, wife, I don't know what she was. She wound up answering similarly afterwards. And then my wife specifically, actually, she's bed, too late for her. Very surface. It was a very surface movie, she thinks, and no dissectable parts. No, I can't read my own writing. That's bad. No layers. There we go. No layers like the book. There was no book to go with this, but there were no layers like books, like the Harry Potter books would have layers. So again, there is no book companion to this. The book is just a glossary of other magical beasts, fake beasts that are out there. But even with the other, the first book I actually read was Order of the Phoenix. I know, way out of limit there. That was the fifth book. And then I went and saw the movie, and I was so upset at the movie because there was just so much missing. And I know people who, you're probably some of those people too. Sometimes you look at the movie, or you look at that and you'll say, you don't know what you're talking about, because the fourth movie was the worst. The fourth book had so much in it, and yet the movie was so short. They chopped out so much of that movie, of the book from that movie. It was absolutely absurd. And people got really, really upset over that. I learned to just kind of accept it. It's different. It's new. It's very new. When I watched the Luke Cage series, a lot of things in there were different. Misty Knight never got with Luke Cage. She's Daniel Rand's wife. Like, they were eventually married. She didn't sleep around with a whole bunch of different people like that, There were a lot of things in that movie that are different. Reva, his wife, he was married to her, in the movie. No, she wasn't evil. She wasn't evil at all. She was a really good person. In fact, they wound up getting together, and they were together for a really long time. She helped him clear his name from prison and all that stuff. Like, no, they were together and they were good together. So no, so they changed a lot of things. Misty Knight was supposed to get a bionic arm. There's a lot of things that are different in the movies, the Netflix, the TV shows, all that good stuff. A lot of things that are very different. Same thing with Harry Potter. Just enjoy it for what it is. You've read the books, that's great. I hope that you enjoyed the books. I enjoyed the books too. When I go to see the movie, I know. Just let it go. Just let it go. Oh my God, I was singing Creedence Clearwater Revival. Who wants to hear my number for Frozen? Let me get my guitar. Okay, I won't do that to you. But anyway, just literally let it go. Because it's only going to be a source of stress. My personal thoughts on the movie. I thought that it was good. It wasn't great. I am not going to go and see the movie again. I will, of course, buy the DVD because I've got all the other ones, but it's really more of that thing. I'm sure that my wife will watch the DVD one time. I doubt she will watch it a second time. Whatever. But so she'll see the movie twice in total. Anyway, and that's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. With me though, I will probably watch it one or two more times, not in a row, just because it was a fun movie. It was a good movie. But that's really all it was. There were a lot of things that were very, like she said, surface. There's no reason to really talk about what happened in that movie. The only thing I could think of was, whose wand was that? Aside from that, I can't think of anything else to really discuss, Like, have you ever seen the first Matrix movie in the theaters? And then afterwards you're hanging out with your friends, you're like, okay, this is what I think. I think that was great because this is, and even with the second Matrix movie, okay, this is what I think this means because he had the powers out in the world that wasn't in the Matrix. And, there are a lot of really good movies that are like that will get you excited, and you'll be talking about that movie long afterwards at the water cooler, outside of your car, wherever. I remember when I saw The Crow, even. I read that original comic book, Caliber Comics, The Crow, and I saw the movie with Brandon Lee. Oh my God, that was a great movie. There were many parts that they missed from the comics that is a real shame, but it is what it is. It was still good. His acting was good. And, me, my friends were able to hang out by my car and just talk about this absolutely superb movie. This is not one of those movies. This is just, it was a fun movie. It was a good movie to go and see and just forget about everything that's going on. There's nothing really great. There's nothing deep about this movie. It wasn't deep at all. It was just fun seeing certain things. Some things kind of made me upset. I wouldn't say upset. That's probably a bad choice of words. It's definitely a bad choice of words. Some things irked me a little bit. Case in point, I'm going to tell you right now the hypocrisy that Doctor Strange was attacked for, its so-called lack of diversity. I didn't see any lack of diversity in there. I didn't see any at all. Genuinely, I didn't. I saw them making fun of the idea that a stereotype that the Ancient One has to be, this old Asian dude. I saw there was a quick little poke in there, which was great. They weren't asshats about it like the new Ghostbusters movie, Heed the Call, Answer the Call, whatever they're calling it now, where they were openly making fun of the viewers, and the critics of it. That was very childish, but I guess what do you expect from potty humor, things like that. And that's what those actresses are known for. So, whatever. But with this particular movie, no, it was just surface. But I didn't see a lot of diversity in it. In the main hall where there were the dignitaries from all over the place, yeah, cute. They had a bunch of people. But America has always been a very diverse country. We didn't always get along. Hell, we don't get along now. But it's still a lot more diverse than that. And to have one woman, one black woman, as the head of the Makura, not that, Makusa. How did I forget that? Easily. She's the head of Makusa, and she was very irrelevant. Very irrelevant. They could have said that the president was out and that there's someone else acting in his or her place, and it still would have flowed just fine because she was barely involved in the movie and all of her decisions were actually really stupid. That's one of the things that actually bothered me a little bit is that, she, Miss Goldstein, Porpentina, that's, if you don't know, that's Newt's future wife. His future wife, Porpentina, comes up when he goes to deliver the copy. It's only 1 year later. He goes to hand deliver the copy to her, and they wind up eventually getting married. Spoilers for the future, anyway. She goes up and tries to tell her, hey, here's this guy, these beasts have escaped, and she's still like, why are you here? Cutting her off, won't let her talk. And then she comes to her the next day and says, okay, I brought them back again because, hey. And she said, you didn't tell us this information? You're just as guilty as them. Okay, now allow me to give my direct opinion of that in one word. Stupid. That was stupid. You literally made her a stupid character. That was bad. That was bad. And there were only two other African American characters in the movie. One of them was a house elf who was a stripper or a burlesque dancer, whatever you want to call it. And so diversity amongst elves, that's great, but look at the role that she was playing. And then on top of that, you have one of the two nurses who were there. And here's a nurse, an actual educated person. Did you hear the way she was talking? So you're telling me that there's subjugation like that in the wizarding community also? It's annoying to see something like that. I don't mean to be a social justice warrior, but sorry. That's the kind of stuff I see when I'm watching this. On top of that, it bugs me how dumb wizards are. Now look, I've seen the curriculum for Hogwarts, and I don't remember seeing any math classes in there or science classes, which I guess it makes sense because you got your own community and things like that. You're going to have your own curriculum, which is very different from an earthly curriculum, a muggle or no mage community. I get it. But I don't know, does a lack of science and a lack of math make you that bumbling? I mean, Newt is a Hufflepuff. I will probably do a video on Newt where I will give a background, a profile of him, because he is a very interesting character. He really is. But, he was a Hufflepuff, but are all of these people Hufflepuffs? Or the equivalent of Hufflepuff? Because that's just sad, man. Like, almost every single wizard that they show, they're all dumb. Like, they're all bumbling. I mean, did it really take all of that for him to realize that he should put some rope, he put some jute twine around his suitcase at the end of the movie so that nothing will escape again? Is that really what it took? All of that nonsense? That really just makes me think that he's stupid, not just Hufflepuff dumb, like Luna Lovegood, no, just stupid. Like, are you stupid? When he went to open the suitcase at the customs in the very beginning of the movie, I get it. It was very cute that he pushed the button. So you say, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it says something like, muggle proof, something to that effect. I get that you had to show that you could do that, but wouldn't it make sense to have done that beforehand? Couldn't we have shown that some other way? Also, Kozlowski, was that his name? I can't remember the name of the guy, the muggle that was there, the no mage. But did he have to be obliviated? He was crucial in saving everybody, right? He played a part in saving people from these animals and from everything, and his reward is, and it's that, we've got to play up this masquerade that we don't exist in, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, we're going to completely play God with these mortals and just start erasing their memories all the time. That's just so demeaning. As a muggle, sorry, I'm American, so as a no mage, that's not cool, man. Like that's a bit too much, you know. It's the rules, so your rules supersede my rules. Is that what you're saying? Well, Salem witch trials, you know, then I guess that you guys should all be hunted because that's our rules. So your rules obviously supersede our rules. That's not cool. But a big thing is that calling them the, I can't remember exactly what they call them, but something to the effect of Salem, that's, I think, not right. And I know the whole idea of, you know, cultural sensitivity and all that stuff, but that actually is a part of our history as America. I mean, especially if you're from that, you know, whole Massachusetts area, the New England area, the Salem witch trials, man, that was something else. So I get the idea of calling it Salem to give us that idea, but the fact that there actually were witches here, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just taking a little bit too far with that one, but I don't know. I just see it as there were a lot of things that really were just, it could have been better. You know, it was a good, fun movie, but yeah, you see my problem? When you think about it too much, ugh, not that great anymore. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much my review. I'm gonna give this movie a C plus, and I was really fighting if I should give it the plus. You know, like I said, it's a good movie. It's a passable movie. It's a movie that you could sit down and enjoy if you don't think about it too much. But like me, when you think about it too much, you start to find all the nitpicking details. You know, and that's a shame because it does say a lot about the movie in that regard. Anyway, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.